Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, I've got some exciting news for you today. We are going to embark on a multi-session tutorial on the next project, which is creating our fall village. Now, this will not be a step-by-step because I simply just don't have time. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm just kind of winging this because I've been trying to collect different fall related buildings and accessories over the course of a few years and trying to, in my mind, I was like, well, I don't have enough. I need this, or I need that, or I need this. And it just became sort of an obsession. And so in the last couple of days, I've started sort of the design phase for this. And I realized at that point, I've got too much stuff to try to cram it all onto a display piece. And you guys know, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm not a fan of overcrowding on a display base and putting everything on there and leaving no room for creativity or imagination or the extra little details that make it look so realistic. So I had to go through and pare everything down. And really, I haven't even made it through that phase yet. I have decided on two particular buildings that I must include in my fall village. That is the Apple Barn, one of my all-time favorite Department 56 pieces, and Jack's Pumpkin Carving Studio, another of my all-time favorite fall pieces. So those two, for me, were relatively simple, and that is a must do. So I've started with those. I think I'm going to put the display back here where we had Witch Hollow last year. I don't know that I will set up Witch Hollow again. Well, I do know. I'm not going to set up Witch Hollow again this year. We're going to give it a rest, and we're going to put the fall display over here instead. Now, I've taken some initial measurements, and we'll talk about all that. But first, what I want to do is kind of jump off the tripod and kind of go through with you a little bit of the design process. So let's do that. Okay, pretty exciting so far, don't you agree? Okay, so here's the initial design. Now, I'm just going to explain most of the work after the fact that I've already done it. Some of the work that you're going to want to see, I will do real time on camera and publish that as separate videos. But by and large, you see me do all the techniques that I'm going to do on these particular pieces. So here's what I sort of envision as we kind of zoom out a little bit. So I want some fall pumpkins. Now, one is probably not going to do it. There's probably going to be 2 or 3 of those fall pumpkins there. This garland that you see back there now will be gone. It'll be replaced with fall garland. And then probably 2 or 3 of the pumpkins over here, maybe with some small hay bales. I'm not sure yet. So that really kind of limits then what I can do here as far as space. And so I've decided that I'm going to use 3 2-foot sections. So we're going to build in sections, each of the sections being 2 foot by about 20 to 21 or so inches in depth. Why? Well, because I've got to fit the display piece on here with it able to sit back like it's supposed to without being knocked over, still have enough room behind it to put power cords and some garland to hide all of that, and then have some fall leaves and hay and everything else kind of in these areas. So that'll be another piece here, a piece in the middle, and a piece over here is sort of the design that I laid out. That's 6 foot in length, and that gives me plenty of room on either side to put in some pumpkins and some hay bales and some fall leaves and just make it look incredibly cozy, homey, and fall themed. So that's what we've designed. Now you will see I've already started cutting a little bit of the front off. I'm using a different technique. It's a little more wavy. Basically, I'm taking, everything I've done so far that you're going to see is all done with the Hot Wire Foam Factory tools. That's the engraving tool, or not the engraving tool, but the sculpting tool, the trenching tool, whatever you want to call it, that is basically just kind of cut right through the middle and a little wavy section there to get that that sort of look. That'll be sort of the look all the way around. Okay, so let's jump over now and look at the main piece that I'm working on. I've already started the main, I say the main, I've already started the left side of this. If you're looking at it head on, the left side of this with the apple barn and Jack's pumpkin carving studio. So let's take a look at that. For the most part, it's almost ready for paint, and I'll explain as we get over and take a look at it. Okay, so here is this piece. You can see it's already got quite a bit of work. You'll see the same texturing throughout. The same texturing is also going to be on the larger piece and when we're done with that. I wanted some elevation changes on this one. All right, I wanted the apple barn is my all-time favorite, maybe my absolute favorite Department 56 piece of all times. This one, quite honestly, Jack's Pumpkin Carving Studio is a close second. These just scream fall to me, and I wanted to make sure that they were both included. I'm still a little hesitant that I've got them both on the same space, but we can hopefully rearrange if we need to. So anyway, here's what we've done so far. I got a piece of 2-inch foam. So this is a piece of 2-inch foam here that is carved. I got another scrap piece of 2-inch foam up here that is kind of leading down to the main base. And then I've got a piece of 1-inch foam that is left over from another project, why it's painted a little bit, and then put into place and carved with a little ramp to come up and to kind of get into this area here. There were some gaps in the coverage, especially back here, because it didn't line up exactly right. So I took some joint compound. You've seen me do that before. I take the joint compound that comes pre-mixed. It's mostly, you can get it at any big box hardware store. It comes in about I think it's a 25-pound or 40-pound, whatever's box. You put that into I use a plastic cup and then add a little bit of water, mix it up with a spoon till it's almost like creamy oatmeal thickness. And then I slathered that all into these gaps, for the most part, all around the seams, all around here where I cut the ramp going down. I cut this whole piece out. That is all cut out on the Proxxon. And then after it was already carved up front, I cut it out on the Proxxon and then angled it to come down to the smaller second base. And that's kind of how we're setting there. And then over here, I thought that it would be nice to have a pond with some of the fall foliage around the pond, some of the little cattails sticking up out of the water, some rocks around and inside the water. This is going to be a resin pour. So again, I took my hot wire foam factory tool. The freehand router is what I was trying to say earlier. So it's the freehand routing tool, and essentially just kind of cut out small little chunks as I went to get the depth that I wanted, and then I put in with a paintbrush the joint compound, right? And so the joint compound is going to dry and harden. It's almost there. It still needs to bake in the sun for a little bit. And then this piece here then will all be painted. The next time you see this, it will all be painted black. And then I'm going to color it more of a brown, rocky color for the walls. Lots of sand when it's all said and done. The water will be a sort of a greenish blue color when it's done. And I think it's going to look really, really nice. And the other small piece that we've got setting over there is going to then fit right there. So it'll be down to a single layer there and then back up to a double layer to kind of mirror this side as the third piece. Hopefully that makes sense. And as we come around this side, you can kind of see where I've used some joint compound to kind of mask a little bit of the seams there. It's not going to be perfect, but with the paint on it and everything else, I think it'll look good. I didn't want a real rocky kind of terrain on this one. I want it more of like, this is a section cut out of basically, dirt. I mean, you took a whole piece of earth out with a knife and you've set it on your kitchen counter. And that's what I would imagine that would look like. And then I rounded the front of this one because I think it gives it nice symmetry as it comes around. And then it'll go straight across until we get to the third piece, which is up here, by the way, sitting on the stove. And so the third piece is all carved. I wanted to do all the carving while I had the shape in the freehand routing tool. The shape was, I think, paramount to get a uniform look and the same look all the way throughout. Now, I did not do anything on this side because I got to finish that with the other piece that's going to go on top. And that'll all be done together. So that's how that is starting to look. So let me kind of rearrange this and put it all together so you can see sort of the thought process of how it's going to look together. Okay, so you can see how it's coming together. I put both pumpkins down here just to kind of show you the space limitations that I'm kind of working with. And there'll probably be a smaller pumpkin or two out here with some fall leaves and maybe some hay, straw or something like that. And then you come over and start taking a look at this. Now, there's no weight on any of these, so they're just kind of sitting around. They will line up a little bit better. They will have sand and grass on them, so all of this stuff will be sort of masked when it's done. But you sort of see the ramp leading down to the bottom piece here. This piece will remain low. This will be the centerpiece, so it's got to be decorative. And what I'm thinking is the flashing pumpkin patch sign was going to go somewhere into the middle. You're going to have some split rail fences coming off of that. You're going to have a bunch of small little hay bales just everywhere with the lighted pumpkins, the carved lighted Department 56 pumpkins on those hay bales. I've got plans. I'm envisioning this in my head right now, and obviously we'll have to get to each piece as we get there. And then I don't know what other accessories. There may be a pumpkin patch over here. There may not. There may be a cornfield over here. There may not. I'm not exactly sure yet, but you can kind of see how this piece is starting to tie together, right? So you see kind of how the carving is going to kind of lead into one piece. And then obviously this piece has none of that yet, but it will, rest assured. It absolutely will. And then I don't know, to that point, what is going to go here yet. I just know that I wanted it to look uniform and sort of mirror the other piece down there. So I am almost positive, 99.8% positive, that this will be another 2-inch piece of foam up here, dropping down to a 1-inch piece of foam to sort of mirror what we've done here. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, and I know most of you have, symmetry is a good thing, and I have to have symmetry. So does that mean there'll be another resin pour on this side? Perhaps. I don't know yet. There may not be. I just don't know. But I think a resin pour, if not two, is really going to make this piece just pop. And it's going to give it that added detail and that sort of the attention to detail that we're looking for. So with that fall foliage gone, or with this gone behind it, that leaves me about 2.5 inches, 3 inches maybe behind there to run power cords and those fall trees that we picked up. I don't know that they're going to fit on here. After looking at this, I did not completely design this with those in mind. I can certainly, I think David Benson asked me if I was going to maybe remove them from the wooden pieces, and that is absolutely a possibility. It would certainly cut down on their size, and you could either hot glue them, or what I like to do, quite frankly, is use a lot of the command strips. So you would put command strips on the foam side before you put all the grass down. You'd put the opposing piece of the command strip, the Velcro, on the underside of the tree unit. and then you would just basically Velcro them together on there so that way they could be removed. I may do that. I may not use them at all. I may use different types of trees. I just don't know yet. But that's where we're at, and that's where we're going. What I've got to do next is this whole piece is going to get a coat of black spray paint. Then that is, again, you've seen this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. That is the water-based spray paint. It has to be water-based or you'll destroy your foam. And so I get all of my stuff off of Amazon. There's 100 types you can get. Just make sure it's water-based. I use flat black to do my initial color. That's what's going to go on this. Then it's going to be a mixture of different colors of browns. And you guys know, since you've seen several videos that I've made, I typically paint everything before I glue it together. But this time I wanted to try something different. I'm going to paint everything while it's on here. It's going to be a lot of browns. Even the ground is going to be a mixture of greens and browns. And then a bunch of the grass, like I always put down, with some shrubbery and everything else. It's going to cover up everything that we don't want to see anyway. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of what this is going to turn out as, or what it's starting to take shape of. I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out, and we'll go from there. Okay, well, hopefully that gives you a better idea of kind of how the planning is going. And I'll be honest with you, it's sort of haphazard right now. I broke everything out, and my wife was sitting at the table doing another project. We're still waiting on our crafting room to get finished. The good news, I guess the cabinet should be here in another week or so. So we're moving, but just not nearly fast enough for us. So all of our tools and equipment is all jumbled up. It took me 30 minutes to find hot glue guns this morning. So it's a disaster. But when I first started kind of setting things up and saying, hey, I've got to get this stuff started or I'll never get it done, it was almost like a brain freeze. I had no idea of how I wanted to set this up. I bet I broke out probably 15 items that I thought I was going to put on this display. Boxes everywhere, bits of styrofoam, you know how they're packed, was all over the place. And I'm setting everything out and I'm standing back looking at it going, I'm not feeling this. I don't like this. I told my wife, I have no idea what I'm doing. So she laughed and she said, it'll come. And so I walked away from it and started boxing everything up and putting it away so we could eat dinner and get everything ready. And the next thing you know, I just started thinking about, more sometimes is just too much. Maybe less is better. So I started paring everything down and saying, okay, let's go less with some more accessories and some more detail in the building and see how that's starting to look. And so then slowly but surely things started to come to me. And so you see the fruit of that effort and that thought process kind of behind me. So the reason I'm telling you this is I want to encourage you that, one, sometimes just over cramming stuff on a board and calling it a display doesn't look all that good. It's just so super crowded, you don't have room to really appreciate anything. And so sometimes taking a break and going less is perhaps the way to go. And then two, even if you're having a moment where you're just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, walk away, think about it, come back and start from the basics, right? Watch videos online, watch my videos online. There's other creators out there who do very similar things, beautiful work, and use those things to help you stay motivated and give you ideas. And I plagiarize a lot of my stuff that I see from other videos online. It's easier sometimes to see a video and go, wow, that looks really good. I think I can recreate that, although I'll make it a little bit different or put my own spin on it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So this is going to be a multi-tutorial session. We're going to go, I don't know how many, I don't even fathom to guess right now. Here's what I do know. I'm going to be building this pretty quick because I need to get this one done and ready. And then I'm going to try, with no guarantee, to get Mana Row rebuilt as well. I don't know if I'll be successful at that. I guess we'll see how this one is starting to come together. But the plan this afternoon is to get this spray painted and start some painting on it. So there may be another video coming in the near future of showing how we're going to go about doing that. So if you like this video and you're excited about this upcoming project, make sure you click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. If you click the little bell icon, you'll get notified every single time a new video comes up. And so you don't have to worry, you'll get notified. You can go back and watch these in order as they are produced. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Until we talk again, take care of yourselves.